So if you'd like to just introduce Brian Orsi is our first speaker.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Hello again. We are with our joint logistics track and the last presentation of the day. We are here with ECS, and we have two presenters there. Whitney Harris, and please introduce your colleague. His name just escaped me.
Brian Orsi.
Yes.
Brian Orsi. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate the time today. Again, my name is Brian Orsi. I'm the Vice President of National Security and Intelligence for NS&I, and for ECS, I'm sorry. And I'm joined here with Sarah Bacharach, who's our Data Solutions Architect, and John Schimmerhorn, the Project Manager for Ceres. They'll be talking about two of our projects. I'm going to give a brief overview of ECS and some of the work we've done in AI and some of the other projects, and then hand it over to them to get into the details. So next slide, Whitney. So ECS, we're a large company, but we're also a very agile company, especially when it comes to partnerships and subcontracting. A couple of notes: of the roughly 3,500 employees we have around the world, 21% are veterans. 23% have been with ECS at least 5 years. So we have a staying power, and we have over 2,000 of them hold clearances with the government. Next slide. So just a quick swath of some of our customer base in the federal civilian world. We also have work in commercial world. A lot of that is cybersecurity work, state and local, and the Department of Defense, and of course Intel and Homeland Security. The next slides, I'll give a snippet of some of those projects and talk a little bit about those, but want to get into the meat of what we want to show you all. Next slide. So in some of the civilian DoD networks, DoD missions of interest, in the top right, ECS manages the CODIS database for the FBI. So that's anytime DNA is run or matched through their systems, that's all through ECS systems around the country. Other piece of note here is that ECS is the prime contractor on the U.S. Navy's PSNet, the Public Safety Network, which is the largest network in the Navy, covers everything from port operations to industrial control systems. Next slide. And in some of our defense R&D and artificial intelligence work, we've been the prime contractor since about 2012 on the Army Research Lab's Secure Unclassified Network, which forms the basis of most of our AI work on the unclassed side. I'll get into a little bit of that in a minute. We also are the prime on for logistics for the U.S. Army's Medical Logistics Command. And of note in the AI world, we've been the prime contractor on the U.S. DINS's MAVEN project since 2017, which led into a number of other AI projects where we're the lead for the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, a number of LOEs, and two of those specifically we'll talk to you here in just a minute, but other AI work that we're doing for the Army Research Lab and others. Next slide. So talking about AI, one of the things I like to stress is that, I put a circle there for model development. The actual development of the models is really one of the smaller pieces to doing AI at scale for really any mission area, from logistics to computer vision to anything else that you want to apply it to. It starts at the top with the people, getting the right technicians and the right people, the right specialties, from the actual project managers to those that are doing the AI development, but also to the information assurance, which is just as critical in ensuring that we have accredited models, but also accredited platforms and accredited processes. And so all that is tied up and part of what we call the AI Forge, which on the unclassified side, we host on SUNNet. And this is a DoD-owned network that ECS manages and has built. But again, all of that is on the unclassified side, and then we have replicated the Forge in multiple domains in the classified. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah Bacharach to discuss our project SALIS.
So Project Salus was initiated by the JAIC in April of 2020, and its main goal was really to create a one-stop shop for complete situational awareness of the COVID-19 pandemic to assist with preparedness and response. We primarily supported NORTHCOM, National Guard, and State National Guard units, but after early project success, our end user base expanded to serve multiple other COCOMs. So the foundation of model development is really data. We underwent a massive data collection and curation effort, and we're able to create a data lake with over 150 unique data sets from a variety of sources, from open source data to government-owned to commercial data sets. And all of these data sets updated twice a day, so we could have the latest and greatest of the data. The exhaustive repository really provided a holistic picture of the COVID-19 pandemic in the form of data. And to leverage this resource, we worked directly with AI development companies, both big and small, to develop 20 plus models. And the model development was really happening in parallel to data collection as new COVID data came out every day and the landscape of the pandemic continued to evolve. So really being proactive rather than reactive was critical. So for example, planning to model vaccine administration before the vaccine was approved really served critical for decision support. The models were deployed then into 5 visualization platforms, and the project's unique ability to be UI agnostic really ensured the rapid adoption of these new solutions with little disruption of current end user workflows. On this slide, you'll see a few of these models visualized, and I just want to quickly highlight a few. So the lower middle screen grab was created for Army Europe. And this was 4 of the teams wanted to know the health posture of each county before potential exercises to keep both the county members as well as the service members safe during even the height of the pandemic. The screen grab just above supply chain analysis dashboard predicts which communities will see shortages of important consumer goods such as formula, food, and diapers. It also looks at food banks and pantries to ensure that even the most vulnerable communities that really depend on these spaces are sustained. It informed military leadership as well of where to send servicemen when volunteers were really scarce due to disease spread. And then the lower right-hand corner, which shows Hurricane Nestor's effect on hospital capacity, end users were able to turn on over 15 analytic layers, which shows variables such as COVID-19 case count, death count, demographics, extreme weather, which really speaks to real-life compounding impacts of disastrous events. So there were so many challenges and lessons learned as we rapidly stood up this capability in the middle of an active pandemic. However, now ECS has this really valuable playbook, or rather crises response tool that is scalable and repeatable for future crises.
Okay, now we're going to hand it over to John Schimmerhorn, who's going to talk to you about Project Ceres.
All right, good afternoon. So Project Ceres was performed under the guidance of the JAIC. It is a joint logistics effort aimed at applying AI and ML models and techniques to predict mission capability of DoD assets. Our initial focus today is primarily centered on supporting CENTCOM with fleet readiness of the C-130 airframe and other related variants. The approach to tackle predictive maintenance needs of these fixed-wing heavy-lift aircraft involve the collection of an immense amount of data, multi-year maintenance records, daily flight details of the fleet overall and individual aircraft, movement information, and overall focusing on aggregating this information and developing deep data insights from the details shared. ECS and our supporting model performers collect this data directly from mission partners like NavAir or Air Force LIMS to really work better and understand the information coming out of these services and COCOM regions, really supporting similar logistic needs and overall the data landscapes. Today, we're developing ML models that provide the statistical likelihood of mission-ready and not mission-ready individual aircraft at various increments, focusing mainly on 96-hour, 4-week, and 3-month look-ahead windows, and also the other functions to provide insight into why a particular asset changes status, whether they go from being mission ready to not, or vice versa. To provide the overall capability, we're also ingesting 3+ years worth of historical flight data and readiness status, work orders, other notes, and various maintenance parts data sourced from our partners to really work and glean new information and understand. The effort is currently deployed within our ECS AI Forge, and we'll be pushing daily mission capability model outputs to SIPR, where it can complement sensitive and other real-time operational data for decision-making purposes. Slide, please. This slide here, starting with the middle graphic, the orange portion here, we've developed Ceres as a DoD asset predictive logistics framework with planned expansions to provide the capability to other DoD mission partners, COCOMs, and additional services. Overall, the JAIC's strategic vision for Project Ceres also includes scalability into other asset classes and types beyond just the primary focus of today, which is the C-130s and variants. Today, relating to Navy, it could be envisioned that Navy assets and airframes could be added and accommodated within their respective COCOMs. And it's also reasonable to conclude that the expansion of mission partners and planned data sets could be shared amongst the various users of this capability that would bolster and improve modeling capabilities across the board to really a global scale for all the users and everyone within the services. Starting on the right side over here, the graphics represent a snapshot of the AID LogCop Asset Readiness Predictor tool, which is available within AI Forge and SIPR, where the Ceres predictive maintenance models operate and are visualized at the aggregated and individual asset level. So we have two types of ways to kind of dig in and drill down into the data. Different various groupings, or if you want to look at specific airframes. Today, models are being developed within AI Forge with historical and daily flight readiness data, and the models produced thus far are actually undergoing valuations and validations by ECS, and also testing and evaluation by our JAIC partners. We're actually preparing for our initial MVP to be released in June this year. So this is a new capability that we are expanding and rolling out. Primary takeaway relating to Project Ceres is that its purpose is to provide commanders and joint staff the tools needed to prepare for and adapt to mission-critical asset status change, and overall is a capability that contributes to maintaining the overall readiness posture over DoD. That concludes my portion. Brian, back to you, sir.
Thank you, John. To sort of wrap up here, how can ECS help here? Number one, we are a recognized AI integrator. We've got the experience as the prime for the Maven project, several projects within the JAIC, Army A2I2 under the Army Research Lab, and the SUNNet program itself. So we provide that opportunity for close collaboration among the services, among the COCOMs, among the folks that are building AI. We have the central location in the AI Forge to do that work, bring the data together for cross-program pollination and to learn from each other. The AI Forge itself and the scaffolding that's required, both on the unclassed and the classified side, is really the only way you can do AI for the DoD at scale. And we've got lots of experience with that in the AI Forge itself, bringing all the components together and making them work in building a robust AI capability. There's also a big piece here that we've got lots of experience in, is both classified and unclassified labeling. To build those models that are going to be used and deployed for the DoD, you've got to use properly labeled and accurate DoD data in most cases to get the most accurate labels. And then the ability to, the Forge provides us the ability to rapidly retrain and improve on those models, including the labeling experience, whether that's human labeling, machine-aided labeling, or other capabilities. We have several labeling capabilities within our ECS AI Forge. Another big piece to this is the actual fielding of the AI. So ECS has globally deployed field support engineers, AI-specific engineers, deployed around the world to help with not only the deployment of the AI, but I think, as Sarah mentioned also as well, is the actual adoption of it by the users. And in most cases, it's in whatever user interface or systems they're used to using, but now becoming AI enabled and AI aided. And so these field service engineers work closely. Many of them come right out from having worked on those same platforms to come work for ECS and then deploy and help the user adoption of the AI themselves. Another critical piece is the actual accreditation, the information assurance, and the cybersecurity of not only the platform to build the AI, the security of the government data used in developing the AI, but then the accreditation of the actual models and algorithms themselves that are fielded to multiple domains across the DoD. And we've got that expertise as well. And then finally, it's the integration with the end platform systems. So that's custom software development in some case, GOTS integration with the platforms, ensuring that we've got common APIs, common standards, developed AI common standards, so that our developers, as well as some of our teammates that are developing algorithms, can write to common standards that allow us to integrate these algorithms and models quickly onto any platform. Whether that's in the Navy, the Army, or anywhere else. With that, I know we have maybe a couple minutes left, but I'll stop there in case there are questions if we're able to, but I think we're holding questions till later. Yes. So I will hand it back to Marika.
Thank you very much for the presentation. You're right, we are not doing Q&A today, but I understand the speakers and audience can contact one another one-on-one post-event. Thank you very much for this last presentation by the ECS team. And this concludes the Joint Logistics Track presentations. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you have any questions at all, I believe Tradewin has distributed their contact information. Thank you and have a nice evening.
All right, thank you.